And we're back, folks. You saw quite a headline here. Oh my gosh. Woke City Council threatening Dan Rogers of WeThePeopleTownSquare.com. Uh, freedom of speech, folks, is that still a thing? Well, yeah, you better believe it is. And Dan Rogers of WeThePeopleTownSquare.com is here to talk to us about it. There's even a court date in Canyon, Texas, about this. But first, you know what? Let me go ahead and hit record here for rebroadcast as well. But here we are with Dan Rogers of Tell It Like It Is and WeThePeopleTownSquare.com. And we're live right now as we are recording this in multiple cities and states and a couple of networks as well. Salute you there, Dan Rogers. How you doing?
Doing, doing pretty good. Just
Yeah.
came from a Federalist Society meeting, and it was a very good debate on an ordinance they have here on the unborn, making Amarillo a sanctuary city for the unborn. And of course, it was primarily attorneys, people a whole lot smarter than I am, but they gave a really good presentation, both sides. So it's going to be up to the voters to make that decision here November the 5th, and people need to get out and let them know what they think. And hopefully we'll get at least one of those presenters that we can talk to later in the week.
Well, you know what? It's good to see your face. And folks, if you haven't heard of WeThePeopleTownSquare.com, you are right now. You need to go there. It's a free app. You will not be censored. This is a true patriotic platform. And Dan gives you the facts. Dan, you're no stranger to American politics. You've seen the tactics of the left since you were a younger man during the Reagan campaign. Of course, you've been involved with Ted Cruz campaign as well, and Cole Stanley and others, people who share our values for family, our faith, our country. And it's really, really important. You're championing Operation Show Up. Folks, do you realize how powerful it is when you show up? Dan has a few things to say about that. And Dan, what would you like for the audience to know about you right now?
Well, there's a lot of things going on. Of course, we're going to have Ted Cruz here tomorrow night, so we're ramping up for that. We hope we get a lot of people there to support one of the few real conservatives left in the United States Senate that represents the state of Texas.
Right.
And we're working on our We the People platform, and that platform is it's really not about how or trying to convince people of how to think. Rather, it's more of an educational platform where we can explain to people how the political process works and how they, at their local level, can get involved and make a difference in their local community, how we can empower them to be effective. I don't believe in telling people how to think. I just want them to understand how to use the process and be involved, because I trust the people. I trust the individuals. I do not trust government, especially the federal government. But it all starts here at home in our local communities. And if we can get good people elected locally that will not adhere to this woke agenda, and it's coming at us from all directions through NGOs, which are nonprofits, where we have city councils and county commissioners giving these NGOs money, and then they're turning around and using it against us. I think that's wrong, and it's everywhere, and we've got to root it out. And you and I talked, and we came up with the concept, and really because I was interviewing an potential employee who was interested in coming to work for me, and I asked her, well, why did you apply? And she said, well, I like what you're doing. And I said, well, what am I doing? I didn't feel like I was doing much. And she says, oh, those 4 people you had come to our school board meeting, it totally changed what the school board, how they operated. They actually, because 4 people from the community were at the AISD, they went through the Amplify program. They did a really good job. And they rooted out a lot of library books that children shouldn't be reading. And she said it was just amazing what a difference that made at the school board because 4 people from the community showed up at the meetings. And it occurred to me, that's all it takes is a few people. And if we can help people learn when their meetings are, learn the process, and just be there in every county in America, we could transform our country because all these bad things are happening locally. And the federal government is pushing this stuff locally, and we can stop it.
You know, Dan, you restored my hope in the process. You know, I had a national news show and just didn't seem that there were people who cared. You know, we had 34 million evangelicals not even vote in 2020. Look what we got. And then, of course, 10 million aren't even registered right now. But you have a strategy and knowledge of how to take elections back to the local level.
Yeah.
And to do away with electronic machines. I think we're the only country foolish enough in the world to have it, and yet we're steering the policy ship of sorts, you know, for the rest of the world, and also to abolish property taxes as well. But you know, as incredible as it is, and you know, there's that saying, when the cat is, I don't know, the when the cat is away, the mouse will play. You know, people don't tend to do their jobs in these woke city councils and school boards if nobody shows up.
You know, I don't really think that it's anything. I don't think the people are bad that are on these school boards and commissioners courts. It's not them. Our system was designed for citizen participation. So if the citizens don't show up, they just take, it's human nature. We're going to take, I would do it, you would do it. I'm sure they're going to take the administration's recommendations, and there's no opposition, there's no discussion, and they're just going to rubber stamp it and go home because they believe that the people that they're regulating are doing a good job. They're nice people, right? Their staff puts the deal together, it hands it to the administrators. They pretty much rubber stamp what their staff gave them because they think they're nice people, and they're very nice. And they give it to the school board, and they think that the administrator is very nice. And so they're not going to do anything that would harm students. And I don't think anybody means to harm anybody, but it just happens because nobody's paying attention and this stuff gets missed. And it's all because the citizens aren't showing up. But if we just get a few people, it can transform the school board, it can transform your county commissioner's court, it can transform your city council, it can transform your local community college. We just need a few good people to sit there and show up and listen and learn. And part of my platform is to give people a place to go to find out where those meetings are. You can see how all your legislatures vote anywhere in America. You can have contact information for all your local officials in every state, down to your city, down to your school board members. We're trying to make it very comprehensive. So all people have to do is have one place where they can go and find out this stuff, and then they can tell their neighbors, and then they can communicate with one another. It's not a social media platform. It's more of a social networking platform where they can share information, and there's no distractions, no algorithms, and it's all business. So it's something that you can use to be informed and to get involved and learn how the process works, because most people just don't know. I had a call yesterday from New Jersey. A Navy SEAL wants to be on our platform. He doesn't know anything about how the political process works. He wants to run for Congress.
Wow.
But he said, go to our platform and you can learn what precinct chairs do, what the role of the parties are, how the process works, but the average person doesn't know. It's quite simple, but I don't think either party really wants people to know. how the system works, because they're afraid the average citizen will figure it out and they're toast. And that's the way it should be. Our elected officials should be afraid of the people. Right now, the people are afraid of the government, and that's
Right,
wrong.
right.
We want to change that. There's no need to be, but when I look at it from a, higher level, I'm like, I don't think these people are really bad people. They're just not doing their job because there's no incentive to do it. Nobody's holding them accountable. We can hold them accountable, and it doesn't take much.
A good example of accountability, of course, is the people that did show up and inappropriate books were removed, from the library.
Yeah, those people were powerful, right? They were very powerful as individuals because they just showed up.
That's powerful. And using your rights, folks, please vote. Use your freedom of speech too. It's under attack. Dan, you know something about freedom of speech being under attack. As of today, you got some information regarding. Yeah. Tell us about that with your Trump banners and Texas flags.
Well, I have an office in Canyon that we lease property out of, and we're not using one side of it because my realtor that was using it passed away here a few months ago. And I said, hey, we'll just use that and we'll help get Ted Cruz and Donald Trump yard signs out there. People down there won't have to travel all the way to Amarillo to pick them up. And I just thought, well, I'll pretty it up on the street there I put our the flags that we sell to raise money to pay for what we do, like the Gonzales flag, the Gadsden flag, the Don't Tread on Me flag, and the Come and Take It flag.
Right.
And a couple of Trump 2024 flags, and I think there may be a Texas flag and some other flags up there. There's like 7 flags. Well, I get a letter a while back saying I'm violating the sign ordinance. Well, I kind of got busy and forgot about it. But this morning I was going through some stuff, and I was told I had a letter from the city that I had to show up at a court hearing. So I found the letter, and I got to be there at 1:30 at 1 o'clock on Thursday in Canyon for my hearing. And they said, if I don't show up, they're going to have me arrested, all because of I'm flying political flags on top of my office building. So we'll see what they have to say. And I don't know. I don't think they'll hang me on the town square, but I know they probably can't afford to sharpen the blades on the guillotine. But they just raised people's property taxes in that little town by 14% after they jacked up the values. And this is what they're using the money for. So we'll see what happens.
Your tax dollars at work, folks. You got to make a change. We need the right administration. We need to go back to common sense and drop this Marxist ideology and this overregulation that contributes to inflation. But you can get educated at wethepeopletownsquare.com and get that free app. And yes, it's not the purpose of a social media to rail and rant, but you can speak your mind. But most importantly, you can get informed, you can get equipped, and you can also find out what you need to do to take action. So much happens at the local level. You have no idea how powerful your presence is, but again, Dan is letting you know, and you can also see interviews with political candidates, and Dan is not afraid to confront voting records, but he's on a quest to get you informed and to help you show up. This is a very crucial election year, and I really believe that our country hangs in the balance to a great degree right now.
Yeah, I just want the voters to get to know who their elected officials are. That's why I interview them, because I think if they get to know them, it helps them understand where that candidate's coming from, and it personalizes them so they feel more free, if you will, to contact them, because I want people to be engaged with their elected officials. And I think the elected officials really want that too. But if the people don't talk to them or contact them, they don't know what they think. Everybody's busy. So I'm just trying to create a platform to kind of bring the elected officials together with the voters, so the voters can give them their ideas and solutions to problems that maybe they hadn't thought about. I think all solutions tend to be simple, and they tend to come from the people. They don't come from the politicians. Most of these politicians, a lot of them, like to talk about issues, but they don't ever offer any solutions. You know, I've been in Texas since 1983, and over 40 years, and they were talking about the border then.
Yeah.
Why haven't they fixed it? To me, it's a simple thing to do. Why won't they? The people know how to fix it. We know how. So why don't they? Let's do it. To me, I just want to solve these problems and not talk about them. Not big on complaining about what other people do. And I hear that a lot. I listen to these people at events and stuff, and all they do is talk about how bad the other side is. I don't think that's productive. It wastes time, but I never hear them get up there and speak for 20 minutes on the solutions to the problem. We need to do this. This is how we fix it. And we're going to do this, this, and this, and be done.
Right.
Why not?
You know, people need to put their energy. Yeah, sharing memes is fine. But I tell you, there's a whole lot of people who share memes, but they don't vote.
Yeah.
And so it counts for nothing. It's a distraction. It's a waste of time unless it's backed up with action. And
That's what I really have a big problem with social media about, is I am not a social media person. For some reason, they won't even let me on Facebook, and I've never even posted hardly anything ever. But they know that I figured out that they were doing something nefarious in Texas. And so I think I've been blacklisted, which suits me because I never got on it anyway. But I thought we need something different. We need something where people can actually communicate real ideas, not argue, because they can post articles that are relevant. They can express their opinion, but it's more like, okay, here's a bill in the legislature. Here's how you research it. We have that tool on our site too, so you'll be able to track any bill in the state legislature and get information on it. And we'll have it set up to where you can contact your representatives so they can know how you feel on this issue. Because I don't believe in telling people how to vote. I don't believe in telling them what to think.
Right.
I just want to give them the tools they need to do their job as citizens and let their legislators know how they believe. And if we do that, we solve a lot of problems. But there's a disconnect between the people that represent us and the people that are electing them.
And that's a problem. I agree. It's not enough to complain about the problem, but to provide solutions.
Yeah.
I hope that Ted Cruz is able to expound on his solutions this Wednesday night. And tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think I'll be here at 6:45 Wednesday evening at the Big Texan Steak Ranch. And you can go to We the People Town Square and RSVP to it. The link is there. You can go to Amarillo GOP, which should be a public group that you could join. And you'll see him there. We're also going to be putting it on for places in Abilene, Midland, Lubbock, College Station, New Braunfels, and I think there's another stop he's going to make somewhere in there. But we'll have that all on our We the People site, so you can sign up to go see him in your community. And I think it's important that we show up and and show people like Ted Cruz that we support what they're doing. You know, statewide office is huge. Texas is a big state. It's difficult for them to get out to the communities. And that's another thing I'm trying to do with this platform is to shrink that size so that the ones that want to participate can actually communicate directly with the voters on our We the People Town Square platform. So it's about the people. And that's why I named it the Town Square. That's where we share ideas. We don't argue. There's a big difference. And we can have different ideas. I don't want everybody to think the same. And I think together, if we work together and have a place that people can communicate with others if they choose to, particularly in their local community, because the way we have it set up is if you live in Abilene, you can see other people on our platform in Abilene. And then you all can get together and communicate and start showing up in your local communities together. And you'll make friends and find people of like mind that really care about their community. My platform is not to see how many people we can get on a network.
Right.
I just want a few good people that want to take back their country, and we can do it one county at a time.
I think it's very admirable, your level of commitment and involvement and reach and influence, and yet you're still presenting the facts, and letting people decide on their own. But
yeah,
folks, if you look at the facts, you either want freedom or communism, in my opinion. But I admire that you want to inform and equip and bring people together. And we've really got to come together. If you love your family, you love your faith, you love your freedom, you love the ability to have your business and not to be overtaxed and overregulated, you're a target. You're almost treated like an outlaw by this current administration, in my opinion. And you really need to be informed. So put some of the energy you have and join We the People Town Square.com. Download the free app, see what's going on. And
yeah,
again,
only join it if you want to participate and be involved and learn how to be involved in your local community. If you're just going to sit there and observe others, there's no point in you joining around.
Right.
You're wasting my money and my time. I want people that are going to show up. That's it.
And that's exciting. And I hope that more places, more towns take on this attitude. That there is an urgency, folks. Election day is right around the corner, and
people need to vote. I don't care if you like or dislike any candidate. You pick the one that is most aligned with how you believe, and you have to show up and vote for them, because if you don't, you are voting for the opposition, the one that you disagree with. If you don't vote, you need to think about that. So it's so critical that we show up, especially out here in West Texas, because the big cities are running over us. We don't know what they're going to do in the machines. I don't trust them. I think they're bad. I think they're doing weird stuff and have done weird stuff in them in the past. I can't prove it because Obama made them part of critical infrastructure, and if you get into them, you go to prison, right? So we can beat them there is a way to beat them. Number one, we vote early. And number two, we vote. Because I can verify the fact that you voted if you vote early. If you vote on election day, which I've always done, and I've always been a proponent of that, and I'm 100% against early voting, but if we still have the machines on election day, which I think we're going to, I think they're not going to get them stopped. We're working on it, but I think there's too many things working against us to get it done by election day. Or early voting starts October 21. But if we all vote, if every registered voter voted, they couldn't cheat the way I think they're doing it, right? And it's not anybody locally doing it. It's not your local people. It's done electronically, way above, I believe, even probably the state level. But you can't verify anything on election day. There's no way to verify anything. And but if you care about your country, you'll show up and vote early, starting October 21 across Texas. And we can stop this.
It's very crucial. And folks, that's some pretty hands-on, plain and simple directive right there. Vote early, starting October 21st. It does count in real time. It's a lie to say that it's not counting in real time. And again, it's harder to manipulate the vote when you do that. Again, folks, get informed, be equipped, be prepared to show up. You know, I think that it's actually going to be an enjoyable experience for the people in Potter County to show up and even rally somewhat before or afterwards in a local business. You know,
yeah, we do some of that.
Conservatives celebrate local business.
We're working on it. Yeah.
So exciting things are ahead. Don't be afraid to show up. You know, you saw the villainizing of parents at different school board meetings, and even being targeted by 3-letter agencies. You know,
a lot of people are intimidated. I've got people. Well, one is I won't mention the name. It's a prominent person in Amarillo, and we can read his ballot. But he didn't want to be involved in the lawsuit because he's afraid of the government. He's afraid of retaliation, and that's just sad. We can't be that way, and I think a lot of people are intimidated from voting because they believe that the machines and the voting system could be compromised. But that doesn't mean you don't show up and vote. In fact, that means it's even more important that you show up and vote.
Right.
Because if everybody voted early, I don't think they could cheat. If nobody voted on election day, they'd have no way to run what we think they're doing to add votes. Basically, we believe that they're adding votes and did add votes in the 2020 dramatically, because I think we had 17 counties that they had more people vote than we had registered voters in those counties.
Right.
I think they got a little sloppy because they were in a hurry. I know I was told exactly what happened. I don't know if I can say it, but there is a way to beat them, and that is if everybody would get out that's registered to vote and show up and vote. You'll make the right decision. I'm not concerned about it. I believe that right now the Republican Party has the best platform and adheres more with how I believe. But if the Democrat platform, which is basically Marxism and no rule of law, then you need to vote Democrat. But show up and vote that way. That's what you want. It won't work out very well for you, but some people claim they want it. I don't think most people want it as the numbers are showing. And I think basically what I think's really happened is they have lost on their ideas and they can't win with the voters. So that's when they came in with electronic voting machines, so that it can be controlled and they can get their policies through and give people the illusion that they made those decisions. That's why I want to get back to hand-marked, self-authenticated, tangible ballots that can be verified, and decentralize our elections back to the precinct level and take them away from the state. I don't think any election should be run at the state level, and they all are now, except for a few counties in Texas that are still using the old system, and they have no problems.
Well, Dan, once again, you tell it like it is. We're looking forward to hear what happens. with the city council in Canyon, Texas. And again, admire what you're doing. Folks, if you can get to the Ted Cruz event in Amarillo, Big Texan, Wednesday night, that's tomorrow night, as the recording right now.
That's right.
And of course, folks, Operation Show Up. We need to show up starting October 21st. It's harder to manipulate your votes if you vote early. There's all kinds of wild things going on. Some say your votes are going to Spain and then this. No. Just vote early starting October 21st and vote your conscience. If you love your country and your family and your freedom, vote accordingly. If you love Marxism and communism and oppression and all the promised free stuff that seems to disappear once communism takes hold, well, good luck with that. But Dan, we appreciate you creating WeThePeopleTownSquare.com. Of course, tell it like it is. You can watch those episodes and interviews and more on WeThePeopleTownSquare.com and so many other platforms as well. So thanks for joining me today, Dan. We can't wait to see you next time.
Sounds good. Be careful, Brent.
You too. Bless you, folks.